Nelmontajh, my man.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
How
What's up,
you doing?
guys? Man, I'm good, man. I can't complain. It's Wednesday, so halfway through the work week. So yeah, man,
Yeah.
I'm always happy. I
Exactly,
really,
man.
how are
Thanks for
you
coming
doing?
on. I'm
Thanks for
good,
actually
man.
having me, dude. Like I saw just snippets of the podcast and I was like, damn, actually, you know what? This is something that I'd want to be a part of just because it intersects at so many different avenues that
Okay.
I feel fundamentally is something that I also like believe in, like not trying to be just like a one trick
Yeah.
pony, like let's actually
Okay.
speak about life, business and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Exactly. And I met you sort of by a very weird coincidence where someone had invited me to come to an event that they were going to play some tunes at. And I came there and they never rocked up in the end for whatever reason. And then I met you there. I don't think it was your event from what I understand afterward, or at the time, but I just started speaking to this guy that's hanging around there. We started talking some hip hop, and I said, yeah, and, I used to DJ some hip hop. I used to put on hip hop parties in the early 2000s in Cape Town, and then you also said, yeah, why don't you play some music between my sets and whatever, and I got onto the deck, and it was pretty cool because it was linked to Tidal, I think, so you could like literally just put in the song that you wanted, loads it onto the deck, and yeah, but I remember your set was really good.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, no, dude, like I mean, that's when I get into sort of like business mode. I guess that's why it seemed like I wasn't running the event because I'm thinking now I got a DJ, then I also got to perform my own music, then I also have to micromanage the fact that certain artists aren't arriving on time. Also, ticket
Uh,
sales trying to break even.
uh,
The
uh,
point of breaking even and then counting now the ticket sales that are happening in person and I'm counting my profit. Like I become so pedantic that I almost while everyone else having fun, I'm not having fun because I'm hoping I'm just counting my
yeah,
coins. It is a
yeah, you got it.
problem,
Well,
but
yeah.
yeah, it's
No,
something
I,
I'm
I mean,
I'm
I think
working on.
I guess I could see you were preoccupied, but I also think it was modest, if I can maybe say that as well, that you weren't like, the first thing you didn't tell me that, it was your event and things like that. But it was, you were hanging around there, you were extremely friendly still. I guess I could see now that you mentioned, I could see that you obviously preoccupied, but
Yeah.
with events, I think your first aim is not to lose money. Like you don't even necessarily want to make money. You just actually want to make sure that you don't lose money first, and then you maybe start thinking about making some coin.
10,000%, bro. My like break even though we're at odds. That's what I always say.
Mm,
Break even though we're at odds. Cause like you don't ever want to lose money because now it makes you start questioning the product in which you're actually and the
mm,
service in which you're actually providing with the event. If it's a good idea
mm,
or if it was just poor marketing or if you
mm.
know what, like that event, for example, was during winter. That was just people don't step
Difficult
outside the
one, yeah.
house on the sun. Yeah, you know what I mean? No one's gonna step outside on a Sunday for that. And I mean, I'm competing with other like We House Sundays and other Sunday session events, which already have
Mm,
names for themselves. So
mm,
people don't roll the dice on a Sunday going out.
mm.
So that's the tricky part. But for me, I'm the kind of person I've always liked to challenge, like never back down from one. Win or lose, let's play the game.
Mm. Yeah, in the game. So tell me more about your game. What's your business? What are you busy with? What are you involved in? What do you want to get involved in? So give us a bit of a insight into what you do.
Okay, so right now I'm currently I've actually finished up my mixtape, um one or two tweaks here and there engineering wise, but also just waiting for approval from my manager.
Mm,
He needs to just listen to it and actually decide if it is the correct project. Then it'll be released. And then once it's released, that's when the events will start up again, because I'm performing music that would be what, 2 years old. So I don't connect with
Yeah.
the music anymore. I'm not that person anymore. I believe in relevance. I also believe in development. So that's on the music side. But business wise,
Yeah.
yeah, I started last year. I started my own ad agency slash freelance social media management work. Because my contract ran out and I needed to make money somehow. So I
Yeah.
just started pimping myself out to anyone and everyone, finding mom and pop stores, working with personal trainers, shooting their content, creating
Yeah.
content plans, brand strategy, understanding their brand identities. So now I've been able to work my way up and actually have contracts with some major brands through other ad
Yeah.
agencies. And yeah, that's been going slow and steady. I mean, some months are good, some months are bad, but that's on the business side. And I love it because it helps fund everything else that I truly do love, such as the music, producing, and event organizing. So the business
Okay.
is the main. It's the fruits that needs to be squeezed so that I can get the juice that is the music.
But now tell me, how did you get into that part? So, I mean, you're seeing it as a means to an end in some respect. But I think obviously even the industry that you're in, being in the music industry, being an event, you obviously need to do marketing yourself. You've got to create a brand. You've got to have an identity. But how did you get into that? Did you study? Did you get experience? What's your sort of path from a start to finish, like finishing school, going into
Okay,
what did you do? Where are you now? Give people a little bit of an idea of your path.
Okay, so man, I started at varsity, UCT, wanted to do psychology, didn't really like it. Then I tried to do BA law, also didn't like that. But then I found
Yeah.
my path in industrial sociology, economic history. That's actually
Yeah.
what I made, and that's what I graduated in. How I found myself in the advertising space. My older brother and a couple of his friends, they created an NGO whereby they provided computer literacy and also computer rooms and computers to working class schools, because they found like one of the differences at
Mm.
UCT, like you arrive there between you and a student that comes from the rural areas or comes from township schools is like,
Yeah.
well, and you come from a private school, Model C school. The only difference is that this person doesn't, they're not as well equipped with understanding technology, or it isn't a seamless transition with
Okay.
utilizing technology every day. So I was
Yeah.
the guy that ran the social media accounts and took the photos. So from there, that's when I started understanding, okay, this is how things need to look. This is how, and understand, like, trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. Then I got into fashion, designed my
Yeah.
own leather jackets, and I started a podcast with this I what's a fashion brand called Iconic Black. But now the owner of the brand was like, yo, I'm gonna give you the space and I'm gonna give you some merch, but everything else you kind of have to do. And my other host, he worked as an Uber driver at the time. So he
Yeah.
didn't only had time to actually shoot the content. Everything else had to
Yeah.
be, so it was working with him and
Yeah.
learning how other people's eyes perceive things and how they see things versus how I view things. Because it's like we spoke about it yesterday when we bumped into each other at the gym. Like that little
Yeah.
Wayne phrase, like we're in the same picture, but we've all got different posts, the different perspectives.
Yeah.
Now it's trying
Yeah.
to reach that and trying to create something that is articulated in such a way that it meets the standards of what everyone else wants and what the world
Yeah.
wants, also what I want. And
Yeah.
yeah, then I yeah, ended up working for a startup but they try to pay me in equity. The motherfuckers still haven't launched the app, so if I was
Sure.
still, I'd be broke. Uh,
Damn. Yeah.
got into a graduate program at PGA, which was fun. Then my contract ended, and yeah, that's how we got to this point right
And
now.
now, yeah. Cool, man. And the music side of things, tell me a bit about how you got into, because you basically perform, you produce, you do events. How did that kind of develop? And what have you done? And what do you still want to do? And give us a little bit of an idea of that part of Nelmontajh.
Okay, so yeah, with that regards, I mean, man, I've always loved rap music. I can't actually even describe my life without it or perceive my existence without it. I remember can't even remember the first album, but the first stand out like for me was growing up and hearing Ludacris. I remember seeing the Miss Jackson music video by Outkast, and it was so out there. It was so different to what I knew growing up in a middle class, upper middle class background, going to private school, white suburbia, and I'm seeing these people like being them like themselves almost mythical creatures in a sense, and it was going completely against the grain to it was going completely against the grain to what I've always seen. And I was like, I just latched onto it. I was like, yeah, man, I need more of this. And started listening more and more and more and more and more. And it just became a definitive aspect of who I am, even. I
Yeah.
talk hip hop, I think hip hop. I love it so much that I can just have a conversation with someone. If a perfect first, for example, perfect first date is if we had to talk about our top fives. That would be the perfect first date for me, man. Honestly, have a dinner and let's talk about top five and who's better between this rapper or that rapper. Yeah, it's something that I've always loved. And I've always been someone that's loved sport, and you find that it ends up influencing a lot of sport because a lot of the athletes end up becoming influenced by it. So it becomes something that is
Yeah.
regurgitated constantly. And, I
Yeah.
started writing my first, I remember like I tried to write my rhymes. Like, I think I was like, what, 9, 10? Can't even remember what those rhymes were. My brother found them, laughed at them. So I was like, I want to try this. But I did not try again till I got into high school. I was in boarding school, and a group of the older boys, they used to like have like card games after when it's lights out, and then in the card games niggas would start freestyling. So that's where I really got back into it. And I was like, yo, yo, yo. And I could see, like, although because it's boarding school, all boarding school, all the guys instinctively hate the younger guys who try and give you a hard time. But I could see that they were liking what I was doing. So I was like,
Right. 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 Right.
what? I got you. You know, when you can see someone, like, when you're swaying their opinions, but
Yeah.
they don't want to give it to you because their ego is blocking, but
Yeah.
you
But
got
you
the
know
hook,
that
line, and sinker.
you can see it in the
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
exactly that.
loving hip hop is one thing, but you're actually trying to rap. I mean, people might think it's easier than it actually is. It's a very difficult art form. It's, if you're a good singer, you're going to have a voice to sing. It's quite easy to sing, but like, I think rhyming and rapping is actually much more difficult to kind of do, because you've almost got to find your rap voice, the way you rap, how fast you rap. And it's different. I mean, look, a singer might disagree with me, but I think I've tried a bit of both just for fun, just for myself, but rapping is a very unique way of sort of, you're not just singing and trying to keep to a melody. You've got to find like a rhythm, a way that you rap, your speed, and things like that. And it's flipping hard. Like I would never, I love hip hop, and we've talked about it. I think when we met, I was
Yeah,
like, you know, I mean, I don't even want to go into the age thing, but I mean, obviously, I could see you're quite a lot younger than me, but we were talking like 90s hip hop artists. You knew your hip hop. I was like, no, this
yeah,
guy's not just like listening to the new stuff. He's actually got some knowledge. And funny enough, it's quite funny how you kind of found hip hop coming, you said, almost out of white suburbia. I was from in Namibia. One of the reasons I got into hip hop is because white suburbia, I wasn't in white suburbia really. I had been ostracized because of my dad's political background. So like, hip hop was all I knew from when I was 6 because I didn't have white friends. You kind of had white friends and found hip hop the other way around.
that's
This is quite
crazy.
quite a crazy story. Yeah, like where did you grow up? Sort of give me just that. I mean, if you don't want to say names or whatever, what school you went to, you don't have to, but like, give me an idea and give people an idea of
Yeah.
like, where were you born? How did you end up where you were?
So I was born in the Bay of Dismay, Port Elizabeth, Gqeberha, as it's currently known as. Grew up in Summerstrand. Went to St. George's, which is a private school right next to the cricket stadium there.
Yeah.
Made my way to St. Andrews Prep when I was about 11, 12.
Yeah.
Went to St. Andrews College in Grahamstown
Yeah.
till I was 15, 16. Then I went to Somerset College in Somerset West, boarding as well.
I see.
Till I finished matric, and then yeah, I've been Cape Town bound ever since.
Okay, so why did you come those last 2 years to Somerset?
Man, personal reasons. I guess I don't know, man. Like, if I had to look back at it, it was like, so my parents were going through like a divorce and they lived in different cities. I was slap bang in the
Okay.
middle. But I at myself, I don't know. It wasn't the world that I actually needed. Nothing wrong with the school, but
Uh,
it was too, the ideas were too archaic for someone like me who actually, now that I look back at it, trying to leave Port Elizabeth because it's slow and going to a place that wants to stick to tradition. Whereas in someone that like, not just like I move with the times, I get with the culture. Like,
uh,
even though like you're saying with an age difference between us, like I'm 28 and this new young wave that I'm not understanding, but I like the fact that I don't understand it because I know that it's still the right answer because that's how evolution works. You don't like what's
right.
before. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't like what's coming up, but that's because you are the issue and they've solved the issue. It's just a new
Right.
iOS update. So
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's literally why I moved. Like this side, I just needed somewhere. I just needed somewhere different, man. To be honest with you,
Uh,
I don't think I could cut it Eastern Cape. That's why I'm glad I didn't do my tertiary education there.
uh,
It's no shade to anyone that lives there and does their thing there. It's just not for me. Like I need hustle and bustle. I need to be
uh.
inspired by the fact that, have you ever heard of the word sonder?
No?
It is the idea and concept of seeing people that you don't know, they're living their lives, complete different lives to you without you guys actually ever interfering or interacting. And that's just, they're existing without knowledge of your existence. And that's sort of people watching, and I
Yeah.
get that inspiration from that, seeing others just do them. I don't know this
Uh,
person, but I see this person. Okay, they're waking up, they're taking their dog for a walk around the city. This,
uh,
that, third.
uh,
So I sort of needed that because like there in Eastern Cape, it's sort of like, hey man, find a lane, find an avenue, stick to that, hustle hard, break your
uh,
back, achieve what you need to achieve,
uh,
start a family, and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
growing my
Cape
own.
Town is very obviously metropolitan. You know, there's a lot of different cultures that are coming together here as well. It's relatively progressive in many ways. People get to do their thing, whatever that thing is. If you agree with it, don't agree with it, they're doing their thing. You can, like you said, watch them. You can watch people do them and
Yeah.
kind of get something from it and then do your thing, I guess. It's not the most easiest place to live. I don't know how you found it otherwise. How have you found it from a business perspective now that you've kind of started your own social media branding type company for, I guess, smaller businesses as well initially, but you said you've gotten some good contracts with some good brands.
Yeah, I've got some good contracts, some good brands, and I've done freelance work for them, but it's
Uh,
through the ad agency that I currently
the
have the
bigger ones.
contract with. Yes, the bigger
Okay, cool.
ones. But
Okay, cool.
mostly I try my actual whole the name of the agency is Social Solutions Agency. I'm trying to help businesses discover who they truly are and what they truly do. Because I always tell anyone, like, as I manage a rapper right now,
Uh,
and what I try and tell them is, yo, man, you need to understand that what you're doing, all other rappers are doing. It's the same thing
yeah.
as all fast food franchises. We're not in the business unless, of course, you're innovative, and even then,
Uh,
innovation is it's stifled at the moment globally. You know, like
right.
Tesla is a wild kind of car, but still a car. You know,
Uh,
we're we're stifled. So what I try and say is we're selling ideas now. We live in a world whereby all we're actually doing is just selling ideas, and that's the difference
uh,
between Burger King, McDonald's, and Spur. Is the idea. Yes, obviously the flavors, but the flavors come with the idea, the ideology. So work on the idea, work on understanding what is the identity of the idea in which you're cultivating, which you're manifesting and putting out
uh,
there. And that's one of the biggest things that I almost want to see because I myself have been privileged enough to have gone to boarding school. I grew
uh,
up with two older brothers and a half sister. So I've always been in a big family. So I
uh.
wouldn't say I fought for attention, but it forced me I'm a sociable introvert. I actually show. That is my brother just going wild for anyone. I don't even know what
That's good.
happened, but he's clearly
Is he
happy
okay?
about something. No,
Oh,
no, no,
he's
no.
happy.
He's
Okay.
safe.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's happy.
that was a good fuck. That was not a bad fuck.
Okay, okay. Oh, no, no. As
Uh,
long as he's good, man. As long as he's good.
yeah. So, it's not to say I fought for attention, but it taught me how to break out of my mold and
Uh,
not just sit in my corner and be all slumpy. So now
uh,
with that, I can see, like, whenever I interact with people, man, I can see the people that, like, yo, you and I, we could be thick as thieves, but I can see that you don't have, I don't even want to say the social skills, but you still have a lot of boundaries. You don't know necessarily how to be a risk taker, how to just do things. And for
uh,
me, I feel like I am that in between. I'm that conduit to help you
uh,
discover how good the brand can actually be. Because people think they only need to be one thing. You know, a lot of
uh,
people try and tell me, like, I have a lot of the older generation, like people your age and above, will be like, just try and stick to one thing. And I'm like, no, the thing is, I am good at everything that I do. Just doesn't mean that I'm going to wear the title belt of champion of each of those things all
uh,
simultaneously. And I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with understanding that things fluctuate. Things
uh,
are not linear. And it's
uh.
been crazy running a business and learning that myself and
For
learning
yourself, even.
yeah, yeah, for myself, learning invoicing and
Okay.
all of that. It's been such a like trying time to the point whereby I don't. Some days and like I will train 3 times a day because I
Uh,
just man, like things are not going well. Invoice, I'm chasing on after invoices. I
Money, yeah.
am, yeah, dog. I am sitting on zero. My sports betting, because I also do sports betting on the side, that has been on a losing streak. I am not a happy camper, but it's learning how to,
Yeah,
keep going. Like
yeah,
it's you only and I'm trying to live with the mentality of you only have to win once to be a champion. That's it.
right.
And really try to embody that mentality.
I mean, I agree with you there, but you also don't have to always have that one big win. You know, it's little wins. It's little that culminate. They add up. Little wins also add up, and they
Big
can't be
facts.
discounted.
Oh no, 100%. No, and that's also, I think that's what's helped with my mental stability is
Uh,
learning that things don't, the little wins, like client really enjoyed this.
yeah,
Okay, fine, we part ways. I have a client that now I don't do social media management for or any like content creation for, but seeing them doing it on their own now, it's
right.
like,
It's also nice
yeah,
to see
I,
that.
I like it, yeah, man. It's like I got them out of their shell, like they were a herd
Yeah,
of crap. Now they're out of their shell.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
like
yeah,
this, like I'm cool with that. I'm happy,
yeah,
like fuck, I'm not
yeah,
getting money. That part I'm not happy about, but
yeah, yeah,
but I did my job, and
yeah.
man, like I think about the idea and concept of purpose, and I do believe one of my purposes here is just to help people. It's just
Uh,
to help people. So I gotta like find ways in which I can help people, and the reward for that is, the gratification, but also
uh,
finding a way to make money while I help people.
uh.
That's also the reward.
And I'll tell you, I do think that does sometimes you got to have a little bit of patience there because things don't always fall into place. But I can tell you that if you carry on that the way you are carrying on, even though it might be tough, those things will build up. And then you will find the road becoming a lot easier to walk eventually. Because also what people look for is consistency. So after, unfortunately, it'll take time, like 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, they're like, oh, this guy's still doing this. He's still good at it. He's even gotten better. We need to talk to him or something like that. There's various things but time in the game, like anything else, also gets you far.
That's something that I've learned, man. I try to rush my rap career, and I have over 50 songs released. I think
Uh,
38 on SoundCloud and
uh,
about 10 or something on all streaming
uh,
platforms. The numbers I haven't necessarily checked them, but that was
uh,
because in varsity I was trying to blow up. I was doing whatever it
uh,
takes to blow up, and
uh,
I like created relationships and broke relationships, trying so much to trying. You know what I mean? I like
you were too
make
attached
the
to the outcome. You were too
yeah.
attached to the outcome rather than enjoying the process.
Percent, man. I wanted that omelet so badly that I didn't realize I was breaking too many eggs.
Eggs inside, yeah, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was wasting eggs. I actually wasn't seeing that, yo, man. Just had a
Yeah,
young scramble every now and then. Don't look at the omelet,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanted to go back to the part where you're talking about your agency and what you do work with clients and what you try and tell them. Like there's not a lot of innovation these days. You're an ice cream shop or whatever, and you're just selling ice cream. Ice cream isn't the new thing, right? Um, you said something, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've got to present something exciting, something that gets the attention. I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or you can give me your opinion, is that it's more about being yourself because ultimately you're not looking to necessarily to sell to the whole world. A mom and pop shop sitting somewhere here in Cape Town Gardens, if you got a regular income of regular clients, 100 that are regularly buying from you. And then obviously your thing on the, you just need to be able to speak to those 100 people somehow. You're not looking to speak to thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions. You're not trying to take over the world at this stage. Your first step is to just get a small amount of people that are interested in you for whatever reason. And often that is really, sometimes you can come up with something creative because, life's also about acting sometimes. You don't,
Yeah.
you can create a persona, of course, but it's also just about being yourself, who you are. This is me. I have this ice cream shop, or I have this computer sales business, and this is why we're different, because I'm just me and I'm a little bit different to the everyday person.
Yeah, and and I agree with you. It's that idea which I was talking about, that concept,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
difference maker.
yeah,
The intangible. Work on the idea of the intangible more so than, okay, I need to have my business situated here so that I'm always getting this kind of foot traffic. It doesn't.
yeah,
I feel like if the idea, for example, smash burgers. There's a whole lot of
yeah.
smash burger joints that are opening up,
There's too many at the
and
moment, I think, in Cape Town.
too
I mean, what
many,
is all these
but
burger places?
too many. But guess what? We like the fact that everyone likes the idea that I am not eating at a place that everyone else eats at, and I'm not
Right.
having the commercial burger. Because one thing about Cape Town is the best thing that you could ever sell as a product is, hey, we're not like everyone else. That
Mm,
is Cape
mm,
Town's fucking motto for the city. The DA might as well. The DA, that's what the DA actually even like position themselves politically as. Hey, we're not like everyone else. Hey, and like from if you want to get more like deep into that, just like as I'm explaining this concept,
mm,
the kinds of black people that they have in their part of their like in their team, and the people of
mm.
color. I mean, I even saw during the campaign before these past elections, they had a 19-year-old. You see, they're trying to say like, hey, we're not like others. We're not like they understand them. We're not,
Mm,
and that's the whole idea of Cape Town. So if you're able to sell that and find a way how you can write it in your own font,
mm.
then all it is like it's just a matter of time. And for me, like, growing up in a place like Port Elizabeth, you get to understand the value of hard work and business. My first ever business that I ever ran was I used to sell bran muffins and walk dogs in my neighborhood because I just wanted to make extra money and spend more at the casino called the Boardwalk. They also had a kids place, and the 100
Okay.
rand wasn't enough in order for you to be able to win enough tickets to win the bigger prizes. So
Okay.
if you're playing once a week, you need a lot more money. My parents will only give me 100 rand, so it was a thing of like I need to make more money so that I'm able
Yeah.
to play for longer, so I can have more
Yeah.
tickets, can win the bigger
The
prizes.
big prize.
Yeah, and I found
Spend
the
money to
reason
make money, kind of, and make that back.
100%. Yeah, and I found the reason why my like business worked was because shout out to racism. My neighbors did not realize that I was actually their neighbor or stayed a block away from them. They always
Mm.
assumed that I was some kid from
Assumed
the
you're coming
township.
from far away.
Yeah, like I'm doing like they were like, oh, I'm getting my outreach done.
Yeah.
Dogs, these brand
But
muffins are not
they were just finding a middle class type
dog,
person that was
and
living in the same
yeah,
verb around the corner.
bro. And
Yeah.
I was
Like,
like,
when was
except
that?
I'm not gonna tell you the truth. Like, you want to
Why?
believe in this? You want to believe in this idea, and that's sort of also when I started.
You're giving them
Like,
what they wanted, actually. Yeah.
yeah, and that's like what I was 19. That's when I learned this thing of like ideas and people
Mm.
and how people like lock themselves into this shit.
In
So
thinking, yeah.
into
Uh,
thinking and these perspectives. I mean, that's why going back to the idea of like with rap, fair enough. Yeah, no. I also
Yeah.
yeah, running your own business means like you always have like 10,000 things on your fucking mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my ADHD becomes very problematic. I have to fixate on things. But
No, it's good.
going back to the topic, you end
Mm,
up learning that each like I took it into hip hop. That
mm.
difference between each rapper. Because for me, my top five differs from a lot of people's top fives. And it's
Give us the
funny,
top
like
five.
my top five, in no particular order: Future, Young Thug, Lil Wayne, Method Man,
Ooh, good one.
and 50 Cent. I would say Pop Smoke, but he just didn't live long enough. But the
Yeah,
impact he had, it's the
in
same
the
thing. It's
sound.
the same reason why I can't put Notorious in a top five, because two
Too short.
albums
Yeah.
is not really. That's
Mm.
I'm sorry. Then that's fuck. How dare I? Let me actually swap out 50 Cent for Drake. I am a fucking liar.
Okay.
Drake. That is he perfected the formula to what it is to hip hop. I mean, I think he
Right.
didn't even lose this beef. I would go as far as saying that, and I truly believe that, man.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's also what influenced you, what you love. What I wanted to check with you, so it's this podcast often is
Wait,
it's
who's
taking
your top
it,
five?
my top
Who's your
five.
top five?
I'm trying to think. So individuals or actual groups as well.
Ah, come on, you can't put it. If I had to go groups, the most perfect group is Wu Tang, but they lack the longevity. But the best
Mm,
group, success wise and also impact, I would have to say, is Migos.
mm,
They, everything we're hearing is from them. Yes,
mm,
it is ad hoc, taken and evolved from Lil Wayne
mm,
aesthetic and the Gucci Mane sound and the trap sounds of Ti
mm,
and Ludacris, but the and even the
mm,
Bone Thugs and Harmony flows, but they commercialize that. Bone Thugs and Harmony
mm,
might have started it, but these guys actually made it forefront, like rapping and trapping and all this spitting like this. So when they get, just know that you cap it. I'm just trying to tell you how I be
Like,
tapping, money coming in, all is in tandem.
yeah,
Like me just flowing like that, you all like that bounce from what we're used
yeah,
to. If you're talking about any other of the rappers that I mentioned, they don't rap like
right,
that. Method Man doesn't rap like that. Wu Tang doesn't rap like that. But Migos made, hey,
yeah,
while lyricism matters, if you're able to catch a cadence, a flow, and a bounce, that is just
yeah,
as important. And
yeah.
I think that's one of the favorite parts about this new wave of music is that of hip hop is that people aren't realizing that the reason why the old heads and the youngsters are clashing is because a lot of old hip hop, 90s hip hop was how well I can rap.
I
Apart
see what you're
from
saying there.
people, apart from people like Big Pun, who were also able to get
Ooh,
there,
big
or
pun's
like,
good. Dig
you
that
know what I
big
mean?
pun, yeah.
Yeah, he was also able to get that cadence and cadence and cadence and cadence and mayonnaise and
Mm,
you know what I mean? Tomatoes,
mm,
potatoes. I try to tell you, like he was
mm,
also able to get that even flow, which is might not be the same bounce as Migos, but he had his own bounce.
mm.
A lot of the difference is people think that there's a lack of lyricism today. It isn't. It's just now the kids have found a way to make it musical, and
I'd
that's
say that I was a little bit guilty of being stuck in the 90s hip hop. I kind of didn't want to get into the 2000s and beyond and things like that. So I'm guilty of that old school thinking, but I'm getting into stuff that's new that I'm listening to, and I get what you're saying. It's interesting. It's actually teaching me a couple of things. But other than that, to get back to my top five, definitely Method Man, because I'm not going to choose Wu Tang as a whole thing, but Method Man, most successful rapper out of that, and then obviously Redman, the guy who was never in the Wu Tang Clan that made it big with Method Man and Redman. I like that. Then Ludacris as well. And definitely do
Thank
it.
you.
There was a time late 90s because I think Ludacris managed to get it into the 2000s. Like he managed to like
Yeah,
get in, and then
2001 to 2005 is him. I
yeah, and then
guess
Tuna
50
Fish from
Cent.
Jurassic 5. Tuna Fish from
Okay,
Jurassic 5.
okay.
um,
That is
and then and
incredible.
then I would and then I would say I'm just trying to think of individual. DMX is also still someone that I think did quite a bit. Just in terms of he just didn't really give a fuck. Like I think that was
Yeah.
uh, those are
Yeah,
some
no,
of my
and I get that, and I get that, and that's the thing. I also believe, you have to look at rappers like they comic book characters, and
yeah.
someone
It
like
is a character.
DMX, yeah, it's someone like DMX. He's not going
I think
to,
I think he was who he was. He wasn't really putting on an act necessarily.
yeah, 100%. But what I'm trying to say is, the picture
Uh,
painted by DMX sort of similar to Lil Wayne in the sense that it's not a
uh,
picture that has a lot of evolution, but it's a fact that you
uh,
love the grit. I don't know if you are big
uh,
into
uh,
comic books, but it's sort of like the Punisher. The Punisher just wants to
right.
rid the entire world of
Yes.
crime. He doesn't get
Yeah.
like, I mean, there's even a comic book whereby he goes up against Wolverine because Wolverine's trying to tell him that, hey, you can't like just be killing people randomly. He's like, fuck it, dude.
This
If you're in my
is what
way,
I
I'm
do.
going to do it. So it's like, yeah, exactly. So that
Yeah. DMX was
also
hard like that.
influences, exactly. And people underestimate the value of that concept and that idea of, this is it.
This is
It's
his
not
character. This is if it's real or not, but this is what I'm putting out. And I'm
100%.
consistent in that. I'm consistent in that. DMX is just that hard. He was that everything he did was hard. Even if it was an act of real, it was like you knew DMX is. It's just gonna be crazy. And I mean,
Yeah, like,
he also died that way in many ways. You know, he kind of lived true to that.
yeah,
He made it longer than
and
one
that's,
would have thought he would.
yeah, exactly. But that's it. But that's why people would love DMX, is because it's that idea. It's really, I am such a firm believer on the power of
Uh,
ideas and concepts and trying to mold that.
all right. We had a little bit of a break there, but we don't need to talk about it too much. So yeah, we're talking top five rappers. I think we can.
You had
What I
me.
wanted to ask you though is, okay, it seems to be.
I don't think you finished listing. Did you finish your list? There was Method Man, Redman, Tuna Fish, DMX. Who was the fifth person? Ludacris. Yes, you did. You did.
I think a Redman, Method Man, Tuna Fish, Ludacris, DMX. I mean, I also my first album that I bought was well, it wasn't the first album; it was the first CD. So I still did tapes at some point. I still had a lot of different
Okay.
tapes. Um,
Oh, you old
so the
old. You
first
old
CD I ever
old.
old, yeah. Um, the first CD I bought in '94 at Musica was actually Snoop Dogg and the Dog Pound. So I mean, I can't really leave out Snoop. I love Snoop. I think there's a lot of Snoop, but he's you know he was good at that point. I don't think he's done much different at this point. But you know you got to respect the old school guys as well. But yeah,
Very true. I just feel like he got too stuck in the gimmick. And again, going back to the
yeah,
comic book character analogy, it's
yeah,
like, you know, Spider Man, you have to actually kill some of these villains. Stop trying to be a nice guy to them. Like that guy.
yeah.
That's what I feel with Snoop Dogg. It's like, you know what? You're
I love
sticking
your
too much.
analogy.
You're sticking too much to the concept of who you are instead of giving us a
Yeah,
wow. That's why I
yeah,
haven't listened to his new album with Dr. Dre. Not because I don't think it'll be good. I think it'll
yeah,
just be a modernized version of everything that
yeah,
I love of Snoop. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And it's like,
yeah.
I don't know, like switch up the swagger, switch up the panache. Like when I hear Method Man rapping on new songs now, he
He's still
sounds just
bringing
as
something
cool.
different.
Exactly. He sounds just as cool as when I first heard him, but I'm like yo, you really can be like, you
uh,
evolve now into like
uh,
something bigger, but you're still the exact
uh.
same motherfucker. And I love that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so our cross, cross, cross with method man. So we're
Yeah.
good with that. But I wanted to ask you just to go back a little bit in terms of the because when I talk to people about and the podcast, it's supposed to be a bit about their game, their business. It doesn't matter if it's a business or if it's employment or if it's contractual or whatever. But and then the bucks, which is the money part, is a more the personal finance. I know you've already indicated that, you kind of had to start a business a bit out of necessity, but also it's something that you obviously are passionate about. You've talked about it passionately. It's meant to fund some of your other projects, which is cool as well. But whatever skills and client base you're building up is going to be useful at some point. And that's what I found doing many different things as well. Things come together at some point. But what is sort of I mean, you're 28, you've got an education, you've had some experience in terms of normal business, you're also in the entertainment business. What is your personal philosophy on money? Like how do you deal with your money? What have you
Uh
learned so far? And you don't have, there's no right answer, it's not like you have
yeah.
to feel like you got to talk about, and if you don't understand what to do with money, then that's okay too. But like, where are you at currently with money in the bank for Nelmontajh? What are you thinking in terms of personal finance, savings, investments?
Y-
What do you
so
have to say at the moment?
because of when I first got like into the graduate program and like first got my like, when you get your first credit card, and when I did the what's that fashion thing, and I sold my leather
Uh,
jackets, designer leather jackets.
uh,
Like
uh,
for me, it was like, oh, okay, I know how to make money.
uh,
And then obviously when I hit the snag of unemployment and having to start this business out of necessity, um,
uh,
I learned there that like I had no savings. So like now
uh,
my whole thing is
uh,
saving, saving,
uh.
saving. I because the thing is, I love spending money. I love spending it because I know I can make it.
Right.
That's
Which is not
that
a bad
is
thing. Don't get me wrong. I don't think people should think that's a bad thing, because if
yeah.
you know how to make money, you can always make more. We also need to talk about making more money. But yes, there is a point where you do need to think about saving some of what you're making. Yeah, definitely.
100%. And what people don't realize is like I called my best friend the other day, and he like we were talking about because I've been chasing an invoice, and I was just
Uh,
like complaining about my financial situation. He was like, dude, I earn thousand. I have 23 rand and 80 cents in my account. You would think I have a kid with the kind of
uh,
responsibilities that I have. And he was
uh,
just like all of the things that pop up that you
uh,
end up having to pay for, to the point
uh,
whereby, and he was like, yo, man, he's lost his father as well. But he was essentially saying,
sure.
should get, because I was asking him, I was like joking, I was like, man, are we just meant to keep going through turmoil while still enjoying this life? He was like, yes, my guy, that is it. It just
Uh,
gets worse, but it also gets better if you actually know how
uh,
to make it better. And I think
uh,
that's what I am. That is my goal for this year, is
uh,
understanding like I must have an emergency fund,
uh,
understanding that I can't have the money tied all up into the business and then all into
uh,
my spending. Like, yes, I have those bucks. Yes, I have those thousands. That, yo,
uh,
just because those thousands are around there and you can actually spend it doesn't mean it has to be spent. I think because I spent years in varsity trying to discover myself, and pocket
uh,
money that like your parents give you isn't enough. So for me, I've gone like, now that I'm earning my own coin and everything,
uh,
I've gone into like a hyperdrive of like, fuck, I'm enjoying it, but now I'm also seeing shit pops up, I need to pay for mixing and mastering. I need to pay for deposits for music videos. This, that, the third. I need to also just have savings. I can't. Right now, I've been chasing an invoice that I put through on the 24th of January, and I'm supposed to, how I set things up, I'm supposed to get money every 2 weeks now, because
yeah,
they only pay me this week and not on the 1st or the 7th of Feb, as they said. I have been struggling in a personal perspective, and it's like, hey, I'm struggling because I haven't thought about saving. And my idea of saving is emergency fund, but then as soon as there's an emergency, I use it. I don't actually even hear the level of emergencies. So now I'm learning
yeah,
that I need to be that pedantic with it, and then also even create a concept of different kinds of savings. Like, hey, this will be
absolutely, yeah.
saved for fuckery. I'm saving
Mm,
this for business expenses. I'm saving this for
mm,
emergency fund. I'm saving this
mm,
for anytime family I need help with something.
yeah.
I'm
That's
saving
goal
this.
orientated savings. Yeah, goal orientated. Like I think it helps people mentalize it and compartmentalize it. Is to
Yeah,
just understand what are the different goals that you are saving for, and what's the period those goals will be achieved potentially or needed, or the money needed. Goal based type planning and savings is quite a good one. Definitely. And it's interesting that, you kind of figure this out for yourself, because I mean, we know we don't really get much financial education. People don't
yeah,
like to easily talk about money. And it's one of the reasons that in the podcast, it's something I do want to talk about. So thanks for that. I think that's some good nuggets of information.
yeah. No, yeah, because I mean, like, look, it's my brother and I in our apartments, we live together, and I mean,
Uh,
I got to learn from the fact that, like, damn, man, if he wants to take a break from performing
uh,
and he's taking, like, this shared family costs and whatnot, and he doesn't want to like perform, he should be able to have that right, and I should have enough to be able to cover whatever is necessary, vice versa. So
uh,
it also, and that's where I got, now I've started to learn that, yo, I actually need to save for that specific reason. Isn't
uh.
for, it's for the betterment of, you can live comfortably at all times.
Do you guys, two brothers living together, do you talk about that as well? I mean, you said like you kind of, do you talk about the money between the two of you? Are you kind of in a way supporting each other? I mean, actually, and just even from a discussion point of view, is there
I
talk of like,
mean,
these
yeah,
are,
he's doing a lot more of the heavy lifting now with his recent success,
uh,
and me just trying to like get everything started foundationally wise. But it's more of a discussion of like,
uh,
I tend to, even when I'm broke, I'll borrow a homie my last bottom dollar, because I know what that shit's like. And yeah, in situations
uh,
like I'm in now, whereby I'm waiting for invoices to
yeah.
land. I need people to pay me back now. They're not paying me back. It's like, hey man, if I'd saved that money, but it's,
Interesting as you
and it,
mentioned that. It's, it's, it's quite an interesting one, because I think I'd take a bet that you hardly ever ask anyone. I mean, I wouldn't count your brother, but that you've hardly ever asked someone for money. You've made it work, but yet you have helped other people on different occasions. But then when you're hoping that they would pay that, they're not giving you money. They're not, they're not doing the same as what they did, but you just want the money you gave them back.
yeah, you know what I mean, 100%, bro. And sometimes, like, man, I've had to be in that position whereby I've had to, ask for money, and like the
Mm,
reception that you receive, and it's like, that, fuck.
mm,
Like your jaw
yeah.
drops, but then it's like, you know
But
what?
this is usually just someone that you have helped out.
Yeah, exactly. But then I also realized, like, yo, we're not the same kind of person. Like, um,
Mm,
I, not to say I'm a nice guy and like toot my own horn, but it's like, yo, I can't
Mm,
expect someone else to understand the value of what it's like to help someone in a corner. Like,
mm.
I needed, like, I've had situations now whereby, like,
Yeah,
I've
you're
helped.
doing it because you feel it's the right thing to do, and you're not necessarily expecting anything back. You just know that it's almost like you feel that relief for yourself because you're helping another homie out,
Yeah, dude, like
and you're not even
100%. Like,
expecting to get it back, but you feel good about helping.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, I got to alleviate someone's stress. Like, especially
Uh,
if you are not in a stressed manner at that
Position.
time. That
Uh,
is one of the best feelings ever. And funny enough, it goes into philosophical debate that I like to have, that altruism doesn't exist, because even when you're philanthropic, yes,
uh,
and also just giving, such as the Dalai Lama and Pope, the whatnot, social currency, you also do get a gratification from the fact that you did something from someone.
uh.
And that in itself
It's
is its own
selfish
kind
often.
of, yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
to add it to
that's
that gut, yeah.
stroking of the
And it's fine.
ego.
It's not even necessarily, it's just you have, I think it gives you a hit of dopamine because you even said your own purpose is to help people. Obviously that doesn't necessarily mean monetary all the time, but it, it, it gives you that boost. And it's not even an ego thing. It's just, it feels good to help someone. It feels
Yeah.
good to, like you said, because you know the stress of that, what it maybe did to you when you didn't have that, whatever, 1,000 rand, to do. But because you know how it feels like, giving it to that person and knowing probably that sense of relief that they have, you feel that sense of relief almost again, and you kind of just feel cool. And that's sometimes enough. It's not even it's selfish to some degree. It's not even stroking an ego. It's just it's maybe a hit of dopamine. Um,
Yeah.
but so yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna wrap up soon. What else is there that you want people to know? What I want to know, I mean, I know I see you at the gym. I think you play a bit of rugby. What else? What else do you do on your off time, or even just to break away?
I do jiu-jitsu, I do boxing, I also play football.
Okay.
And yeah, what's that? I do enjoy a good old beer with my friends every now and then.
But
Like
you weren't
anyone
the
else.
tens, weren't you? You did play some tens, didn't you? Did you
Yeah.
also
I
play a bit
played,
of ruggers?
I played Rikers there at the tens. I played, but yeah, I had to couldn't play the next day. Got jumped by these
Yeah, you got
three
injured.
guys, but yeah, but it is what
Yeah.
it is.
But I mean, you're quite a
Um,
unit. And
you know what's funny about that is I think because I was such a small kid growing up, I
uh,
don't see that, and that's my driving force. My insecurity
yeah,
helps me push forward and push like heavyweights, and still, like, my body dysmorphia is, it's perfect. The formula, I like, my mind has tricked itself perfectly to keep me going, and I love it. I fucking
okay.
love it, because everyone will always be like, "Yeah, you're an absolute unit." I'm like, I don't see it. I don't feel it. Like, maybe it's cool. Like, in people, and like, especially when I tell people, like, yeah, I weigh 92. Be like, geez,
Yeah.
for your height, like, that's crazy. Like, I don't see the size, but it's a good
Yeah.
thing. But it's gonna keep me
Okay.
driven.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you were like a small, scrawny person, like when you were
Yeah,
small, and you wanted to
100%.
get
Yeah,
bigger.
dude. I played wing all my life in rugby, and
Oh, wow. Okay.
now at the tens, I was forced to play hooker, bro. Like, they were like, yeah, no, dude,
Yeah.
like, not with that strength and weight. And it was my first
Yeah.
time scrumming, but I fucking actually loved it. I was like, oh wow,
I-
this is actually
You
fun.
always
This is
played
what the
backline.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is what the big kids feel like. It's nice.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice. Man, no one knows, my man. I'm sure we'll have another chat at some point on here when you've got some more stuff to share. But it's
No
been
problem.
absolute pleasure chatting to you. Yeah, thanks for asking to come on, and obviously you were definitely in the lineup somewhere. But yeah, and chatting and sharing a bit about what you're up to, and also some of your vulnerabilities on that, and that you're
Yeah,
not at the
man.
top yet, but you're moving there.
Yeah, dog. I've been. Like as long as my mind is at the top, then everything
It
else is
is.
just.
And I think that's a win already, man. Your attitude's right up there, man.
Look, I always say I'm living in the future.
Mindset.
Everything just needs to fucking catch up to where I'm at. That's it.
Well, I hope it does, and I'm sure it will. And we're gonna roll together soon.
I will. Let's do that. I'm
Already.
keen for that. Thank you so
Cheers,
much,
buddy.
man. Cheers, dog. Have a good day.
Awesome, dog.
Peace.
Cheers, buddy.